The Core P90TG from Thermaltake features a unique prism-shaped open-air design so you can ogle your parts from any angle. The 5mm tempered glass keeps things classy, and the 3-chamber design supports a full complement of hardware even if you're custom water cooling. For more on the Core P90TG, click the sponsor link in the description.
Excellent!
What's up guys, welcome to Paul's Hardware. Today's video is going to be about my trip to Taiwan, specifically preparing for my trip to Taiwan. So I have 3 things I'm going to cover in this video, each has its own place, I guess, here on my channel. First thing is going to be a mobile shooting setup. So I've been using a monopod for quite some time. I'm going to be upgrading this, adding a new cage for my GH5, and I've also got a new tripod head, so I'm going to drop that on there. Also, and this is just a short, quick update to the Riptide computer that's here behind me. I do have the cables for that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to finish that build until I get back from Computex, but for now I can show you these awesome custom cables that Wazmods made. Aaron from Wazmods just went yesterday and picked those up, so I'll show those to you. And then finally, a quick rundown of the hardware we're going to be using to edit at Computex, because we got to edit on site there so we can upload the videos for you guys to share all the new awesome computer hardware that's coming out. So I'm going to get started right here and unbox my new stuff. First off, we got this tripod head. This is the MV500AH. It's a fluid video head with a flat base, and part of the reason I got it is because I've been using this one, which is by Velbon, which is an adequate fluid head. It's only about 40 or 50 bucks depending where you buy it, but it's not the nicest. When you tighten these down, sometimes it still shifts a little bit. I'm still using these for a couple of setups here in the garage studio, but for on the road, I wanted something that's just a little bit nicer. I'll set that up in a second, but I want to get the camera set up too, so it's ready to go on top. So this is a GH5 cage kit with top handle. It's by Small Rig. It provides protection for a camera, specifically if you're traveling and you might drop it and it might land in a corner or something like that. This is going to be a bit of extra security. And also, since it's a cage that goes around the outside, it's got a bunch of like 3/8 inch mounting holes on it. It's actually 3/8 inch and 1/4 inch mounting holes, both available right there, kind of scattered throughout this product. And then of course it's going to hold the camera securely there at the bottom, while still providing access to the key parts like getting at the battery or the SD card slot. Adding a handle to the top was an extra $30. So this is the lens that I usually use for shots that I want to look pretty. It's a Sigma 18-35 art lens, and it's used by many YouTube. Since it is actually an EF mount lens, I have a Micro Four Thirds adapter here by Metabones. It's a Metabones Speed Booster Ultra 0.71X. It's actually a pretty heavy configuration and also a bit bulky. So I'm going to remove this entire thing to protect my sensor. And this is going to stay at home. The lens I'm using for the trip is actually an official Panasonic Lumix lens, and it is the HD 12-35, pretty wide angle. And the reason I like this lens is because it's very small and it focuses very quickly. So as I'm moving around Computex and trying to get footage of stuff, I'll often use autofocus just because it's a lot safer in this type of shooting environments. And this thing focuses really fast, and it also doesn't really make any noise. This looks pretty straightforward. Just a single screw to hold this on, and this is not the most expensive cage that's out there. There are some more expensive ones that have add-on extras, like the ability to have a hook that goes around your HDMI input to keep it from wiggling around or accidentally getting pulled out. For my purposes though, this is going to serve me just fine, provides the basic protection that I want, and then I will mount this to the base plates on the new tripod. So this is the lock for the base plate. Also, the release. Still works. Look how quick it focuses. It's awesome. Alright, so our tripod head has a fluid drag system here that can be locked down with this knob, and then you can give it a nice soft twist side to side that way. And then we also have a fluid drag system over on the side here. It's not adjustable like the bigger ones, but I think that's also to keep the weight down. Then of course you got your standard lock right there, so you can lock it and do a tilt. You can mount the arm on either side. It's It's interchangeable. Holder arm. I messed with this multiple times, and then Joe came over and figured it out immediately. But this top plate here, you actually put on at an angle. I was trying to slide it in from one side like I do with the one that I already have. Pops in at an angle like that, and then can lock in that way, and that way actually can't slide off forward or backward. You have to push that down in order to do it. And of course you can tighten that down to lock it as well. I should bring that with me. Oh! I went and hunted on this because it's a hex nut. Then I realized, small rig, they're smart. Look, Allen wrench built in right there, held on with a magnet. So the handle on top of the cage provides structural rigidity throughout down to the base plates. Base plates can then be attached to the tripod, like so. Tighten that down. And the reason I like this setup with the monopod is because it provides a bit more stability since it's down on the ground. This one has little feet, so I can extend those, and it actually allows me to sort of sway back and forth a little bit or rock in at the thing I'm recording and kind of put my foot down there on the bottom to keep it steady. And then if I need to take this entire thing and lift it up to move around, I can just lift it up by the handle up on top. Now the other thing I'll do at shows, because I typically don't have a dedicated camera person there, and this is, I just discovered this rig can also do this, is I take the camera, flip it around on the mount, pop it back in there, and you can do this with this tripod head, so that's cool. Then since I got the flip out screen, I can just point that at myself, make sure I'm framed in focus, be holding the camera right here, and then I can start and stop it, record my blah 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 talkie bits, and then when I'm ready to record other stuff, I can get behind the camera and do that. It's actually a very flexible and simple to use setup for recording at an event like Computex or CES. Alright, next up, a quick aside and a big shout out to Aaron from WazMods, because he made all of these custom sleeve cables for Riptide, which is back here behind me. That project will continue once I return from Computex. In the meantime, you guys can get a slightly better idea of how it's going to look when it's all finished and kitted out with these beautiful cables that Aaron put together. Aaron's daughter actually helped him out with these too, so shout outs to both of them. And these are actually set up for two different systems, since there's two different systems in that rig. So I'm going to take these out really quickly and then put them back in the bag so that I don't mess them up or anything. You'll notice here actually a combination of materials. He's used paracord as well as, this is a PET variant that he also has available, which gives actually pretty cool effects. So you can see sort of a different texture on the blue there than you can on the white or on the black. Then he also does the cable combs as well. They're all pushed down here so that once I get them installed, I can spread them out wherever they need to be so that the cables stay nice and in line. And of course, I went with the blue theme. It's mostly like an all black system right now, and there's a bunch of RGB in there. So I did want the blue to be sort of like the water for Riptide. So the idea that was that the blue there would be for Riptide, and I almost chickened out and went with like all white or something a little bit more monochrome, but he convinced me to put a little color in there, and I'm glad he did. These are the cables for the smaller system, the little X470 rig that's in there, which only needs a 24 pin and an 8 pin. But I'm also going to position these in such a way that they'll be very visible and evident when they're actually installed. So unfortunately I don't have time to install these right now, but I'm really excited that they're here, and definitely excited to get back to working on Riptide once I return from Computex. And rounding things out for the Computex setup, here's the rest of the gear I'm bringing. Most of my audio when I'm on the show floor or out at suites is going to be recorded on this little Tascam. This is the DR10L. This was actually recommended to me by Austin Evans. So I've been using this for a year or two now. It's a nice little self-contained lav mic, and especially on like a noisy wireless environment, like on the show floor where you wouldn't use wireless anything, this has been very reliable. Backup, secondary, and also to use for recording voiceovers and whatnot back in the hotel room is going to be my Zoom H6. I've got the shotgun mic attachment for that, and this actually sounds really nice. A collection of memory cards, of course. I'm really enjoying my 256 gig ones because they can just record forever and you never have to worry about space. I might bring a few little extra rigging things, like this is a magic arm, just in case I need to set up a camera in somewhere special, or possibly a microphone to capture my audio. And then Joe's coming along, so he's going to be editing on this laptop right here, provided by Gigabyte. Gigabyte's a sponsor for my Computex coverages here. So this is the Aero 14. This is is a tiny little laptop, just a 14-inch screen, but a lot of power under the hood. IPS screen too, which is nice. i7-7700HQ, 16 gigs of DDR4, and a 512 gig M.2 SSD. The only thing it's really missing is an extra hard drive for storage, but we're gonna add a bunch of external drives to work off of, so should be just fine. And since it's best to have a lot of screen space while editing, we got a secondary monitor here. This one just connects via USB 3. It's the Asus MB169. It's actually, I believe, a slightly larger screen than the one on the laptop. But this one's cool because it's super portable, very lightweight, and as long as you don't futz with the plug and disconnect it really quickly, you have it as a secondary monitor, and that will be the editing setup. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for this video. We are pretty much ready to go for Computex, although I think the last thing I need to do is actually pack. I'm going to pack a big bag of stuff and then I'm going to make Joe carry it. So if you're interested in Computex coverage coming up very soon, hit the subscribe button for sure. Wish us luck in our travels, and we'll be reporting back to you from Taipei, Taiwan, like at the beginning of next week. Thanks guys, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Is that all right?